Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Lydia and I sew things. I created this channel in hopes to spread the love for sewing. I do feel like the sewing and crafts in general are being outsourced, and there's much fewer people domestically that really know how to create things with their hands. But for me, creating things with my hands and expressing myself in designs is special. I also want to leave something for my daughters. They're not very enthusiastic about making or learning to sew or knit or create right now. So in that, I'm also hoping to maybe reach somebody out there who'd like to learn from their friend next door or their auntie. So consider me that. But I learned how to sew when I was very young, and I learned how to hand sew and embroider basically as a way to keep myself busy when I was at my grandparents' house in Mexico. So I learned a lot from them. When I was older, I learned to crochet from my grandma and my aunties. When my little brother was born, my mom was in the hospital with him for a little while. There were complications, but everything was okay. But yeah, I learned how to crochet. And in my early 20s, I taught myself how to knit. I just really loved the texture and just the look of the knit. It's just not as chunky as crochet. And it's more mathematical. Anyways, that's another video. And I need to go back a little bit. When I was younger, I bought a lot of clothes from like clearance racks, and I grabbed my mom's sewing machine and I found myself just getting creative and making things fit me, because I didn't really fit into normal clothes. And I think that's a lot of the reasons, or that's the main reason that a lot of people start sewing, is to try to get things to fit them, which can be very difficult sometimes because everyone's different. And the fashion industry doesn't really cater to that. Again, that's another video. So anyway, that's how I started using a sewing machine. And then eventually I tried to use sewing patterns and failed miserably. They were so difficult to understand, and my sizing fell in like the middle of two different envelopes. So I found myself like not knowing which one to use. And my grandma was a really great seamstress. She still is. She just doesn't really sew as much. She's more into quilting. But I was very inspired by her. I mean, she would make herself professional wardrobes, and it really fascinated me. So I gave up on sewing for a little bit because it was just really hard. I didn't understand the patterns or how any of it just came together. Eventually I took a class at my local community college that teaches you the basics and fundamentals of sewing and how to use a sewing pattern. We go through the whole class, and we do we make a whole notebook on, I guess that's another video, because I kind of want to do something similar on this channel and just to walk you through the process of different techniques and whatnot. But the point I'm trying to make is that after I took that class and understood how to use a sewing pattern, I liked it more, but it was still such a big process. You had to do like a tissue fitting, and it wasn't very accessible, especially to someone who doesn't really know how to sew, or already feels intimidating. So what really got me into sewing was years later when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I just wanted comfortable clothes. Like, everything was just so uncomfortable. My body was changing, and I said, okay, I have a sewing machine. I know how to sew. There's got to be an easier way. So I found India sewing patterns, and I Googled, what did I Google? It was leggings. I just wanted some comfortable leggings to wear, and I found pattern for pirates, peg legs, and oh my gosh. My whole life changed, like seriously, because the pattern was easy to understand. It was super simple. It was knit fabric, so I was a little intimidated by that just because my grandma always told me, oh, knit fabrics are so horrible to work with. They're stretchy, they're slippery, and whatnot. But we figured it out. There were online tutorials. There was a whole group of people on Facebook who had done it. So I said, what the hell? Let's go ahead and give it a try. I was so comfortable. I was so comfortable, and I didn't have to spend like a fortune on maternity clothing, which was also the issue. Is I didn't want to spend a lot of money on something that I would only be wearing for a little bit. But that just really got me down a whole rabbit hole, and I really just started sewing a lot. I got into testing sewing patterns for a lot of the indie designers. And then I just started hacking away at patterns and turning them into different things and adding embellishments and just kind of making them my own and adding my own twist to everything. So much so that I ended up going to fashion school. And once both of my little girls were in school, my little one was in preschool, I had a few hours to myself. I decided to go to school and spend my free time in class, and I was so hooked. I wanted initially to learn how to make patterns, like from scratch. I didn't want to be so much of a slave to other people's patterns. I wanted that creative freedom to create my own. So I took one class, and then I took another class, and it just spiraled, and pretty soon I was taking a draping class and creating a whole collection for a fashion show. So I have learned so much. I love it, and I want to spread the joy and really just, like I said, try to leave something for anybody to learn. If these videos reach one person and they teach you something, or hey, maybe I don't know everything, so I hope to learn from you as well, because I have learned so much from YouTube and the sewing community. I want to give back. Yeah, so stick around. I'm going to have a Sewing 101 series. I'm going to share some of my original just designs and whatever I feel like creating. And I hope to build a community, maybe make some friends. Follow me, leave a comment, but that's pretty much what you'll see here. Just pure joy in creating and making some friendships. So thank you. Bye.